Hello, fellow Toastmasters. And looks like we have no honored guests today. That's okay. We're all here and we all have happy, shiny faces because it's so beautiful outside. Love this time of year. I was walking my dog this morning and I just looked around and thought, this is what it's all about right here. This morning. There, I'm looking at you, Kathy. This morning, perfect temperature. Some of the birds were singing, not like they do in spring, but they're kind of that lazy summer singing. Just a beautiful day. Just really grateful to be here. Grateful to be here with all of you today. So we're going to get started. Before we go through our roles for today, I'm going to have Teresa join us at the lectern to give us some levity as our joke master today. Teresa.
Madam Toastmaster and fellow Toastmasters, what does what is a favorite meal of a nuclear engineer?
I'm trying to think of a good pun, but
Protons. Proteins. Adam's apple.
Do you want me to tell you?
yes.
Fish and chips.
Oh, fish and chips.
I have a second one. The other one is what does the person with synesthesia say to somebody who cusses a lot? So 5% of the population of adults who have synesthesia are artists. So that's your clue.
What do they say to them?
What do they say to somebody who cusses a lot?
Oh, cusses a lot.
Cut it out.
Do you want me to say?
Yeah.
Wow, you sure have colorful language.
Thank you. That was good. That was an educational.
It was.
So
Yeah.
remind me again what synesthesia is. That's
It's where the brain is synthesized so that you taste, smell, hear. It's like a cross reference.
okay.
So like a person is a yellow person, or
Well, like people can see colors.
you could see and
but
take
have
all
a
the
sensation of
senses
taste.
are
Like, right, they get like you see a
Interesting.
color that like I'm tasting strawberry because I'm looking at red or whatever.
Right,
There's some
right.
sort of crossing
Right.
something.
right.
Wow. That's
How
really
many people
cool.
have it? Did you say
5% of the adult population.
Wow. And you have it, is that correct?
I have it, but we're all born with it.
Ah,
Oh.
100% of people are born with it.
Does that mean you can develop it? Like
You
redevelop
can
it if you
redevelop it.
Oh, that's kind of cool. I want to redevelop my synesthesia. Thank you, Teresa, for that not only funny but educational joke master of the day, joke of the day. All right. So now we're going to go through our roles and get everyone a chance to explain what they're going to be doing in their particular role today. So the first role that I'm going to ask to explain what they're doing is Zadi. And you've got two roles. So what I might have you do is start with table topics, and then we'll have you move on to timer.
Okay,
All right. So
thank you.
take it away with table topics.
So toast tabletop, I don't have the sheet, but,
Let me get it for you.
okay.
you can have a timer, right?
Start the timer.
Timer, okay, so timer. Greetings, fellow Toastmasters. Toastmasters. I will time the table topic speakers, formal speeches, and the evaluations. I will also alert each speaker of the time they have left using the green and the yellow and the red cards, which denote specific times remaining. So you'll get the 1 minute, I'll raise the green card, 1 and 30, I'll raise the red, yellow, and then at 2 minutes, I'll raise the red card. Okay, and then I'll.
Here is table
Okay,
topics.
thank you. Greetings. Purpose of table topics is to facilitate table topics where guests and members will have the opportunity to practice their impromptu speaking. I will introduce a topic and call on speakers who will be given 2 minutes to speak on the subject. Thank you.
Thank you, Zadi. That's the ability to think on your feet, work on the fly. Two roles. You walked into this meeting today with no roles, and now you have two. So I appreciate that. Next, I am going to have Kim Chen explain to us what the general evaluator does. Kim.
Thank you, Madam Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters, and no honored guests. The role of the general evaluator is to evaluate overall meeting. I will also give a little evaluation to the evaluator of the speech today, and I will also call up the roles, the timing roles for the reports, and also the grammarian role for their report.
Great.
And I will turn it back over to the president after that. That's my role. I'll turn it back to you, Ms. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Kim. All right, next and last but not least of our roles, Corey is going to be explaining to us what the grammarian does. Corey.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and any honored guests. My role as grammarian is to introduce the word of the day and to encourage its use by speakers and evaluators and table topics participants. So I will count the number of times that it's used and both incorrectly and correctly. So I'll also be looking for awkward uses of words or exceptional uses of words or phrases. I'll also be counting for us, ums, buts, and other crutch words while you're using them. Yes, so the word of the day for today is purports. Purports. The definition is to have the often suspicious appearance of being, intending or claiming. So like something that's implied or inferred. It's the kind of claim. So a sample sentence would be a book that purports to be an objective analysis. So it kind of claims to be an objective analysis.
Great.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Yeah, thank you, Corey. Reports. I have to drill that in my head right now, so I use it at least once.
Count.
I know, it doesn't count. I actually have to use it. Great. Well, we've gone through all of our roles. So next, we're going to get into our two speeches that we have today, and our evaluators of the speeches do the introduction. So our first speaker is Teresa, and she is being evaluated by Kathy. So Kathy, there you are. Would you introduce Teresa and her speech for the day? Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests. Today's speaker, Teresa Staal-Cowley, is delivering the first of two prepared speeches, and I'm sure it's going to be fascinating, and it will purport to be an excellent speech. Welcome, Teresa.
Is there 5 to 7?
I will be bringing a few items for display to demonstrate. I have been teaching art classes for decades. I've taught from as young as preschool to as old as seniors with Alzheimer's and dementia. There were very unique situations with each classroom, and I have always brought something to the classroom that is sensory and involving the 5 senses. When I went to Evergreen State College is when I discovered that I had synesthesia. But I wanted to show you, so these are flowers from my garden. And when I would bring these to classrooms, for example, I taught at Alzheimer's and dementia facilities. And when I go into the classroom, they don't remember their name. But when they see flowers, they smell flowers, they'll start talking about their garden. Oh, when I used to have this garden, they would say things like, oh, these are bee balm, these are gladiolas. But then I'm trying to teach color theory. So if you look at the 3 gladiolas, I'll look at them like one has more of a red tone, one has more of a blue tone, one has more of a purple tone. And then I'll get a response from some students that will, for instance, somebody with Alzheimer's, they'll say, well, don't you know we're old and we can't see color? But then, and I try to get them triggered up on purpose. And then another classmate will say something, Gladys, put on your glasses. If you just put on your glasses, then you can see. And I get them all stirred up. And what's happening is there's anger, there's emotion, there's smell, taste. And we try to incorporate that into the classroom. And then what I've done with children, I'll bring these over. With children, I started teaching with my 4 children in elementary school in the San Diego area. And a lot of the children, English wasn't their first language. They were either Native American, south of the border, that came to farm, and they would say, no habla English, no habla Espanol. Or some of the children only spoke Spanish. Some of the children, their families were hired from at Scripps Institute, and they came from a lot of the Asian countries, and they just didn't understand the culture or the language. So what I did, I would bring in fruit, I would bring in, and we would taste. And I got permission from the school. So I'm going to wake up your synesthesia skills, and we're going to go around and we're going to taste red. If you don't want to, you don't have to. Or we're going to taste blueberry. And these are children, they don't have a language with each other even. And so I developed this for my children, and you're welcome to have these. And you can make these at home. And I'm going to show you what the finished product is. So what it is, it's a chromatrope color wheel toy. So on one side, I have the primaries. On the other side, I have the primaries and the secondaries. And then if you mix yellow and purple, you get brown. If you mix green and red, you get brown. But even if you mix the tertiary colors, so tertiary colors would be, for instance, like you have yellow and green blue, or yellow and green, and then right here you mix and it's a yellow green, and that's called a tertiary color. These are called complementary colors. When you mix complementary colors, you get brown. Then what I would have the kids do, they have this little toy. And I even did this with seniors, and they loved it. And so what the seniors were doing, they were using their arms and they were doing exercise. And then they would stand up. So what you do is you go like this, you just spin it. And I started with elementary and it worked with everybody. And then you just spin it like this. One of the things with middle-aged or middle school boys, their favorite thing to do with this toy was to cut paper. So they would demo that. But this is what it looks like individually when you make it. So you have this side, you cut out, then this is the middle for weight. You put that in the middle, and then that's the opposite side with the primary colors. And you glue it together, let it dry, and you punch it with an awl or a scissors. So I have this so that you could punch a hole in it, and it's just a little foam. And where you punch it, anywhere where it says brown, any of those letters, that's where you punch it. So that is my demo for doing a crash course in art classes. And reaching middle school, elementary school, high school, adults, seniors with Alzheimer's, dementia, preschool. It just spans, and I've taught this to all ages. And they learn color, they learn sensory and smell and texture, and get really sensitive with that. So if you want these, you can make one at home. And that's it. Thank you very much. And then you could just do it. The best thing is to do it with watercolor pencil, markers, or regular colored pencil.
Great. Thank you so much, Teresa. And then the berries, are we passing those around for all of us to eat?
Yes, if you want to taste red, you want to
Hey.
taste blue.
You're sitting by me and I was like, wait.
I want to taste blue. Thank you so much, Teresa. I love your speeches. They're always colorful. And you're more than purportedly a great speaker. You are a great speaker. So thank you so much.
Use the word.
Next, we have Torey, who will be giving a speech, and he is going to be introduced by Rachel Kammerer. Rachel.
It's my pleasure to introduce our Toastmaster, who this is only his second speech. I want to remind everybody here, this is only his second speech. And not only is it only his second speech, but from what I understand, this is going to be a bit of an impromptu. Yes.
It's a little bit long, and I'm sorry I'm not giving you the title, but yes.
Oh,
I
yes.
feel
So,
long.
very excited to hear your speech. As always, I'd like to introduce Torey. How do you say your name?
Krieger.
Krieger.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. So I was going to talk about how, yeah, let's just get into my speech here. So this could be a part one of 2 or 3 things, perhaps. And there's a lot about the journey that I'm going to share with you guys that kind of makes some preposterous claims. But I have documented the journey, and I had hoped to get something together to show some evidence of the journey that I've been on and had to walk through. I took care to take different videos at different times because I knew that it was something, even as I was walking through it, that like as I explained it to people, it was difficult to understand. But I won't share those today. We don't have time, so let's get into it. So a couple ideas that I want to introduce before I get into it is that of blindness. So just because you're blind, it just means you can't see. It doesn't mean it's not there. If you close your eyes, you can have a pretty good picture of what I'm saying. And the other thing is about foundations and how important foundations are. We don't marvel at foundations, but they're extremely important. So whatever is built on them, much like your anchor last week, anchors are important. We don't marvel at them, but they're extremely important if you want that which endures to stand, if you want that which is built to endure. So the testimony I'm going to give today is about a 2-year period, a little bit longer in my life, where my wife was blindfolded. So what this looked like was that it was progressive. We really don't have a great definition for what it was, but it was progressive. She became light sensitive and then noise sensitive, where she was in a blindfold for 2 years. Yeah, a little bit more detail is even it got to the point that where even like airplanes or trucks driving by would trigger whatever it was that was going on, that she would have to wear earmuffs. And she spent a large portion of this time, especially towards the end, in a closet, even though we had blackout shades on the windows. On this journey, we sought out every medical option that was available to us. I'm sure not everything, but we saw neurologists, eye specialists, including a visit to the Mayo Clinic.
And nobody had answers, and there wasn't really a physical thing that anyone could point to. They could say your eyes are fine, your ears are fine. So the best self-diagnosis that we came up with was that of neurological Lyme disease. I don't think that's a real diagnosis. But what we believed is we had like a positive confirmation that Lyme existed. And so it had progressed, we thought, to the point of affecting the neurological system. And so we explored avenues down that path, trying to find a cure. The only way to describe this was a time of torment, and it was also during the COVID lockdowns. So, yeah, she didn't, so everyone, all the people that she had invested a lot into in relationships and stuff, most people didn't come to visit her during that 2-year period of time, and that's an extremely long period of time. And that added to the emotional turmoil that she was experiencing through this ordeal. But the bright light was that there were people who we had never met who found out about this, who reached out and made the point of visiting us during this time. And so those were beacons of hope in the darkness. They encouraged us a great deal, and it showed us the importance of visiting the sick. And so during the period that was darkest was towards the end, where she wouldn't even come out of her closet. And during this time, I had confided in a guy at my church, and I expressed to him that I felt like God had forsaken her. And so he had showed up before, but he made a promise to come and visit us that week, and he did. And on December 14th of 2022, that was the night that she was healed. He invited 4 other people to come, and yeah, so it is hard to describe what happened in that moment, but there was a period during that time that I remember feeling this oppression lift. And it was something that existed the whole time, but it had become so familiar that I don't think either of us really realized it was there. There were some strange occurrences that happened, particularly at night, that we felt was spiritual in nature, but we didn't realize maybe the connection with what we thought it was kind of in addition to what she was going through, as opposed to the root cause. So during this time, she had enough faith to come out of her closet. She came down, but she put 6 layers of blindfolds over her eyes to leave the room. And after this period where I felt the oppression lift, she still had to work through taking off these layers. And so one of the people that was there just said, hey, like, let's take off a layer. Let's work through that. And every time she took off a layer, it was a rush of fear that came over her. So I can't identify the particular moment that she was healed. But at the end of that, there was one more layer, and someone shared a scripture verse with us, because I was kind of in the position of like, hey, let's stop. Like, are you okay? Checking with my wife, because we had been through other time, thank you, where we had tried to remove the blindfold in different circumstances, but that didn't produce good results. So he shared a scripture that said, when I'm afraid, I put my trust in you. He just got Psalm 56:3, and that was enough for us to say, okay, like, let's do this. And so she took off her last layer, and she proclaimed that she was healed because what she saw in the darkness was gone. And she somehow knew that when she was healed, that was going to be the case, that what she was seeing in the shadows and the darkness behind the blindfolds was going to be gone. Let me jump forward on time here. So this night transformed our lives, as you can imagine. And it's, yeah, some doubt, and we shared it with, and I would doubt like the circumstances, all of it too, if I hadn't experienced it with her and walked that 2 years with her. For perspective, we had even pursued removing a dental implant that was in her mouth, with the thought that maybe there's some underlying infection there. We had heard about that, or perhaps this metal in her mouth was creating this attenuation of EMF frequencies that were being increased, that we believed during this time. It was a possibility. It was a long shot. We even covered a whole room with foil on the ceilings and walls to try to block that out and spend time in there. But none of that stuff ever produced the answer. So Yeah, so this was kind of a discovery of realizing that you can not see something, but it's there, it's present, and that the roads that we had pursued never had the answers. We spent a lot of time, a lot of money over this period of time to find answers. And I've left out so much. 2 years is a long time. There's a lot of details in this. But my takeaway is the spiritual battle is real, and that the spiritual enemy works in darkness and would rather not be exposed. And I'm grateful that others took the time and the risk of offense in proclaiming truths to us that confronted certain lies, not just the lie about, not just, what am I trying to say? Basically just little lies that could be offensive and confronting, especially with my wife and with me. They took the risk in doing that. And that's the risk I take today in sharing this message as well, is it can bring offense. But offense can reveal things if we let it. And so if we're offended by the name of Jesus or some other truth that somebody wants to, just ask yourself why that is. But whatever your belief system is, I think that people would agree that truth brings freedom, whether it is through some other different journey. Truth is often the catalyst that brings change, and it brings breakthrough. So truth is a foundation, and if we forsake that foundation or put other things in its place, we might find temporary quick success, but it doesn't mean that it's going to endure all testing. And so the thing that I want to cover, I'm going to just jump ahead here, is I want to speak to wounds. And I didn't speak about those things directly here because it's not my story to tell about the specific wounds. But wounds, I believe the enemy uses those to create victims rather than victors, to speak identity to you through wounds. And as a result of those wounds, they have voices and they can create strongholds and they can create fear and different things. So they might start off as self-protection, but they can quickly become a prison when you replace that fear. So yeah, truth and love aren't the same thing, but people shared the truth in love. And that union, I think, is important. And want to jump ahead. I'm way over time, but yeah, there's a lot here. I kind of just want to leave it maybe with a cliffhanger. Maybe I'll share some more of the story, but ultimately what this led to, it's like trials are difficult and they're painful. But God used this trial in our lives, that we met the biological mother of our son, whom we wouldn't have if it weren't for a result, that I believe if it wasn't a result for this trial. And so there's a redemptive side to this, not just with healing, but in who our son is. And maybe I can share that story another time. But thank you for the time and letting me go over to share that story. It's been deeply impactful for me. And yeah, thank you guys for your time.
Wow. That was intense. And thank you for sharing and being vulnerable in this space. And I can't speak for everybody, but I will say this is a safe space. And I appreciate your sharing, and I look forward to hearing more. And I do think that the trials that we go through really do help us become who we're meant to be. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Now we're going to move on to table topics. And Zadi had volunteered to fill in for James, but she still needs a timer.
I'll time.
Or however you want to do it. Do you want to do?
It's, I was looking,
I don't-
if we should.
Okay.
It's not a cycle of number.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, we probably only have a time for a couple. You just want to try to fit a couple in?
Get up there.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right, Zadi, go ahead and we'll have you do table topics.
Thank
And
you, Madam Toastmaster.
yeah, thank you, Zadi.
Sorry. Oh, shoot. Well, I remember one of them anyway. So would anybody like to come on up and do a table topic?
Corey and James don't have speaking roles today, so you guys, I'm putting you on the
Corey
spot.
and James.
Here you go.
Well, Corey does because he's the augmentarian.
Oh, well.
No.
Oh, well, I'm sitting down then. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You are from not this planet, and you've come here and you're looking at humans for the first time. What is your impression?
Oh, boy.
Good question.
So I would say that they're interesting hairless creatures for the most part. That walk on 2 feet instead of 4, that make these really interesting noises that come from a hole in their face. And it they seem to derive meaning from this, that when one makes a noise, another one like makes an expression and makes another noise as well. And it seems to be how they communicate back and forth. And there seems to be a an agreement amongst everybody that when they make these different noises, that everybody amongst them knows it. Now, one of the things with that is that it's not always about noises and such. It's also about the expressions that they make. So they make noises, but then they move in certain ways as well at times that seems to express those same sort of words. Yeah, so that was really my first take on the aliens from planet Earth.
Did you get the time?
I did.
Okay, thanks.
James, if you want to go, I'll time you.
All right.
Thanks.
Kind of nervous after the first question. I don't know.
You have a car with a full tank of gas and no destination. Where are you going to go and why?
Full tank of gas and no destination is probably going to take me to where I'm going to go in a couple weeks anyway, Labor Day weekend. Just north of the border in central BC is the town of Penticton, and it appears to be British Columbia's Lake Chelan. So, as for work, I manage a dam that controls the water level on the lake that Penticton is on. I've always gone as far as the dam, which is in the middle of nowhere in Washington and Oroville, and there's nothing there. But everybody says if you go just across the border, it's almost like the Wizard of Oz when it goes from from black and white to color, and because it's where everybody from BC summers. It's kind of their Palm Springs. So that's where I'm most excited to go. I think a tank of gas would probably get me there as long as I don't try to get there too fast. But that would be my answer for that. So I've hit agreed.
Yeah.
And let me ask you, is that Lake Osoyoos?
It's Osoyoos and one other, yeah.
Okay, I've been there.
Have you?
Yeah, for work. On that same body of water.
There you go.
Yeah, the Okanagan. It eventually flows into the Okanagan River. Very cool. So James and I both work for the Washington State Department of Ecology. So
We do very different things, though, I
we
believe.
do different things. You're more water quantity
Me?
or water levels. Oh no, what program are you in?
Admin services. I just keep the lights on.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But it all matters. Because without lights, we can't do our work. All right. Now we're going to move on to our evaluation portion of our meeting. Our first evaluator today is Kathy, and she is evaluating Teresa's speech. Kathy, there you are. Oh, I like your glasses. Very
Thank
nice.
you. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Toastmaster and fellow Toastmasters. I don't believe we have an honored guest, but I'm speaking to Teresa Staal-Cowley because she gave an amazing speech today and brought us in some beautiful visuals. The flowers, I think, are just gorgeous. the taste. You used your synesthesia, if I'm pronouncing that right, synesthesia. You use that throughout your entire speech. It was colored with the visuals of not just the flowers, but even the way you presented yourself was a very, I almost call it floral, which is why I put a backdrop, like a floral backdrop, and the sensory part that was, I wish I was there to taste blue and to taste red. I can't imagine to taste color. That part just fascinates me. The visuals, I'm enamored with the visuals that you provided. Um, and the taste, how you were able to link color to taste. The props that you use, not just the flowers, but the spinning wheel, I believe you said the spinning wheel, and how you use what you have. You take everything that you have and you make it an artistry, which is what I believe that's your sweet spot. Your forte is artistry, and you use that artistry to teach children and to teach adults, and that is just beautiful. So those are the many of the good things, which almost everything I have to say about your speech today was great, from the way you presented it and the storyline that you told. You have a very good way of taking what you've experienced and putting it into a story. You weave it into a tapestry, like a tapestry of love. It's just very eloquent and beautiful. The rate of speech was just right. It wasn't too fast, it wasn't too slow. The volume was perfect. The only thing I would say that I could do better or you would do better is not to go off screen. When you bring visuals in, they almost need to be present and arranged to where you won't have to go off screen because where I'm at, you go off screen. Keep your visuals near you, so all you have to do is reach out and touch. But man, it was just amazing. That's really the only significant thing. I think the only other thing maybe is a call of action. Pull us in to do something. You did show, I believe you showed, I couldn't see it too well, how to make the color wheel, or you demonstrated it with the hands, the gestures. It was just all amazing. So that one takeaway, which is keeping everything right there contained to where all you have to do is reach it. So you keep your visual, your eye contact, your full body. You're not turning away from your audience. Keep us all engaged because you're very engaging, very, very engaging. I loved it. I just want flowers and I want to taste stuff right now. Thank you, Teresa.
Thank you so much, Kathy. That was an advanced evaluation of an advanced speaker.
Right.
Well done. Very good. Next, I'm going to ask Rachel to come up to the lectern, and she will be giving her evaluation of Torey's speech. Rachel.
Thank you. Madam Toastmaster. Hey, everyone, especially Torey. Congratulations on your second speech. And just wanted to say that every time you come up here, I'm always very impressed. I tell people, and I think I've even put it on the website, that I feel like Toastmasters is therapy for me.
Yeah.
Especially today, we talked about art and you talked about your journey. It was incredibly moving, and I appreciate you coming up here and telling an incredibly vulnerable story. It's very brave of you. It takes a lot, and kudos to you for doing that. I understand that this was pretty impromptu for you. And I think as you were speaking, you probably recognize that you have a lot to say. This is a very big story, a personal story. And I would love to hear more of your story. In fact, I'd like you to do the series that you kind of were thinking about. And perhaps my suggestion for you is, just as you mentioned, I have a lot to say, and you could have a themed where the theme today, you were talking about truth. I really love that. And you could tighten your story, and I know you started to talk about what wounds are and their significance, but you even said it aloud. I'm just that this is probably a different story. You could tell your same side of the story with a different lesson, and there are so many lessons that you gave us, and I think that's great. And so my suggestion is, give us to us again, and with your themes each time might be very powerful, and it would just tighten and really impact the message. I do want to say your language though was amazing, because you were talking about walking through a journey, and you kept coming back to these intensely visual, what do you call it, an analogy? That's probably not the right word.
Idea or concept.
Yeah, saw in the darkness. Your language on this was just outstanding. I can't wait to hear more of your speeches. Something that grabbed my heart and melted it. You said something like time of torment and emotional turmoil and beacons of hope in the dark. Your language was absolutely beautiful. I think everybody would agree how beautiful the language was in your speech. And I think that's a strong point of your creativity and your speech making. And I want to see you continue that. It's incredibly powerful, and it connects us all when you have that rich language like that. Beautiful speech. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And I'll turn it over to, I'm not, all right. All right. It's just
Thank you, Rachel. I was just sitting there thinking, as the Toastmaster, it can be an intimidating role, I know, for people in the beginning. But what I find is, when I'm Toastmaster, I don't have to think about anything else. I can just completely focus on who's speaking. I don't have to think, oh, I'm not evaluating them. Oh, I'm not timing them. I'm just focusing. So just put in a little plus in there for if anyone who wants to try Toastmaster, because it really is, I think, a way to just really enjoy the meeting. So just wanted to put that out there. But at this time, I'm going to ask Kim to come up as our GE. I'm actually going to turn the meeting over to Kim as our GE to give us our general evaluation today. Kim.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmaster, and no honored guest. Purportedly, I think I could agree with you that being the Toastmaster is easy, but sometimes it could be difficult wrangling folks for roles and everything like that. I will start my evaluation first, and then I'll call out the roles, asking for roles. First, we started off a little bit late, and I think we realized some technical difficulty happening, but we still went on, and we have a really very advanced Toastmaster who set us along really well. We started a little bit late. I love the two jokes. Teresa, it was different from my dad jokes, which are really not very good. So I liked it. Love the word of the day, actually. I had a difficult time trying to figure out how I'm going to use that today, but I was able to use it. Two great speeches. I thought they were amazing. There's some theme involved with sensories, and one of that touching story, your personal story about blindness. So I love the theme involved with that. And then we included a table topic we had to do with noises from the nose and aliens. So I just kept on thinking about that. So I thought that overall the meeting kind of went through its courses, and then we had a couple of evaluations as well for those speeches, which I thought would, in my opinion, would have been really difficult for myself to evaluate, because Teresa is an advanced speaker. I did agree with everything that you said, Kathy, that Teresa is so good up here, and all the words that you use which I know maybe Corey wrote them down. I wrote a couple, but you are so good at explaining and using visually colorful words for what she's trying to share to us about visual sensory stuff, artistry, beautiful floral tapestry. So that was amazing. The only thing that I would add to your speech, along with what Kathy was mentioning that you could work on, there was a point where I think your prop was right here, and you continue speaking to it, and I thought that you were just kind of speaking in this area. So I felt like you didn't engage the whole room. That was a good, maybe the first couple minutes, I felt like. But yeah, being able to that was the only thing I think you could work on, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And then for the second evaluation, Rachel, very soft spoken. I felt that you weren't, for a little bit there when you begin, you were a little soft spoken, and I don't know if you were. I would like to see you talk more to Torey about his speech and just kind of zone in on that. So that's something that you could work on, but I do agree his language was beautiful as well. I felt that you share your heart out to us. And so I had a hard time taking notes because I was listening to what you were sharing with us. So thank you for that. Overall, we are wrapping up, and we got a couple of table topics in which I was appreciative. I thought we were going to be late, but we end up on time. So with that, well, actually, we're not, because I got to call up on rolls. So I'm going to wrap up now and call up on rolls. I'm going to ask Zadi to come up and tell us our timer report, please.
Okay, thank you. General evaluator. Yes, thank you. Okay, Teresa, your speech came in at 6 minutes and 41 seconds. Torey, you were at 11 minutes and 4 seconds. Kathy's evaluation of Teresa's speech was 3 minutes and 24 seconds. Rachel's evaluation of Torey was 3 minutes and 25 seconds. James's table topic was 1 minute and 3 seconds. And
Corey's was 1 minute and 19 seconds.
all right, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Zadi. You know, this thing is I'm getting used to this thing.
It wants to
follow what I'm speaking. So if you want to be in the video, make sure you come up right in the front and speak, and so we can focus on you. Next, I'd like to call on Corey to come up and share about his grammarian report.
Yes. Thank you, General Evaluator. Boy, I tell you what, the use of words and language today was amazing. So to try to move through it quickly, we've got I had Kathy with one use, Brandy with one, and Kim as well. So great job today, everybody, use the word. If I missed that, it may be. So moving into Torey, I quit counting at 30 umps. Like I didn't want to make it any worse than that, but the rest of your language and use of words was just absolutely amazing. I was stunned at, there was this story of darkness and these things, and being able to interweave things like bright light and beacons of hope. Like it was masterful. I was just like, this is amazing. One of the other ones, so Teresa, for you, a couple of things that I noted. You only had one Synesthesia was a very interesting word. I'm still not entirely sure what it means, but I thought it was a fascinating word. Tertiary, complementary. You also had Torey, you had neurological Lyme disease. And something I took away from yours, Torey, as well, was truth brings freedom. So great job today. We'll turn it back to General Evaluator.
Thank you, Corey. And now I turn it over to our president. Madam President, come on up.
Thank you. Fantastic meeting, everybody, and I need to learn to talk louder, and I'll get there one day. Before we're kind of short on time, I wanted to remind everybody, we have our gathering at Buffy's tonight. So if you have a computer, a laptop, it'd be good to bring, just to get everybody started. And just not to blindside you, but we wanted to talk about mentoring tonight as well. So keep that if you want to mentor or you're interested. We'll be talking about that. I believe Robin is going to be, kind of hosting the session, but so can't wait to see you all. And is there any other business that somebody would like to business wise? Otherwise, I'll close the business wise. Any announcements?
I saw the dialogue. Is it at 5:30 or 6?
Probably won't get serious until 6.
What's that?
We probably won't get serious until 6, and 5:30 if you come, we'll be
Oh.
we'll be snacking and eating.
Okay, so I should come at 5:30?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if you, yeah,
Okay,
then we can visit and socialize and
yeah.
and it's a big place. So if you have family or spouses, kids, you want to just feel free. Yeah, Buffy has a lovely house. So, all right. Well, I'm going to close it if you don't have anything else. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Kathy, did you have something?
Oh,